Dear students, let us see what are the learning outcomes of this module. After studying this module, you will be able to know what is meant by hydrogenation. You shall be able to learn about the types of hydrogenation and the hydrogenation catalysts which are used in this reaction. You shall be able to identify the conditions used for hydrogenation, the mechanisms and the stereochemical aspects involved. You shall also be able to evaluate. Let us first of all get introduced to this module which deals with hydrogenation. As is evident from the term hydrogenation, that is, it is the addition of hydrogen and it involves the treatment of the compound which we are using as substrate with hydrogen molecule, whereby now after knowing about hydrogenation basics, let us see the apparatus which is commonly used for doing these hydrogenation reaction, because hydrogen being gas, it cannot be done in a routine manner where you are simply mixing the solvents or the reagents and so on. So here you can see the hydrogenation which is carried out, the apparatus is being shown, and this is arranged in such a way where the hydrogen gas, there is a pressure gauge and the control of the amount and the volume.
Hydrogenation is a very important reaction industrially, and the most prominent example of its large-scale industrial use is the manufacture of solid or semi-solid hydrogenated fat from the vegetable oils. This figure shows partial hydrogenation of a typical plant oil to a typical component of margarine. Notice that most of the carbon-carbon double bonds are converted to single bonds in this process, which increases the melting point of the product, and thus the fat is solid at room temperature. Let us see what is meant by the terms transfer hydrogenations and hydrogenolysis. Most hydrogenations use gaseous hydrogen, but some involve alternative sources of hydrogen. These are termed transfer hydrogenation. For example, cyclohexene in the presence of palladium or carbon provides hydrogen to the substrate for its reduction, and itself gets converted to benzene via cyclohex 1,3-diene as shown here. Hydrogenolysis is an associated reaction and can be an unwanted side reaction in hydrogenation reactions.
Now you have just now known that there are two types of catalysts, the heterogeneous and homogeneous catalysts. Let us first of all study in detail more about the heterogeneous catalysts. Heterogeneous catalysts are mainly finely divided metals or their oxides or sulfides, and these are.
We will now discuss heterogeneous catalyst further. These are mainly finely divided metals or their oxides or sulfides. The most extensively used are palladium and platinum catalyst, either in the finely divided form or more commonly supported on a suitable support such as activated carbon, alumina or barium sulfate. Platinum, which is a pyrophoric and difficult to handle and optimize for a reaction, is not employed itself as a catalyst, but is often used in the form of its oxide, which is reduced to metallic platinum by hydrogen in the reaction medium. Nickel-based non-precious metal catalysts have also been developed as economical alternatives, but they are often slower in reaction or require higher temperatures or pressures.
After studying about the heterogeneous catalysts, let us study about the homogeneous catalysts. So heterogeneous is where you have the different medium, the platinum or the nickel or the palladium metal were solid state, and then you are taking it and reacting with the gaseous or the liquid phase. So they are in.
Now coming to some examples of homogeneous catalyst. There are a large number of homogeneous catalysts. The most common are based on rhodium and ruthenium complexes. For example, tris triphenyl phosphine chlororhodium, Wilkinson's catalyst, and tris triphenyl phosphine chlorohydroruthenium. Another example of homogeneous catalyst is a complex of iridium with 1,5-cyclocitadine, tris-cyclohexyl phosphine, and pyridine, developed by Robert H. Crabtree.
Let us now focus on the selectivity of this hydrogenation reaction. The selectivity of a hydrogenation catalyst becomes important in the light of numerous hydrogenation catalysts which are available with the chemist. A question arises, what type of catalyst must be used for a particular type of hydrogenation reaction?
Let's have a look at how the functional groups present on the substrate are important. Not all functional groups are reduced with equal ease. Generally, the decreasing order of reactivity of various function groups is listed in the table here. Groups at the top of the list can be reduced selectivity in the presence of those at the bottom. For example, reduction of an unsaturated ketone to a saturated ketone can be accomplished readily by hydrogenation over palladium, but the hydrogenation of unsaturated ketone to unsaturated alcohol is not possible.
In heterogeneous hydrogenation catalysts, the active sites, that is the metal surface on the support which is exposed to the reaction, are very important, and selectivity, that is the reducing the activity of the catalyst, can also be achieved by blocking some of these by means of poisons which can include halides, metal cations or amines, sulfides and phosphines. Effect of poisoning agents is not the same for every catalyst, and their use is based solely on observation. A prominent example is the partial hydrogenation of alkynes to alkenes which you have.
Hydrogenation of alkenes takes place easily and, in most cases, can be effected under mild conditions. However, as hydrogenation is sensitive to steric hindrance, highly hindered alkenes are resistant to hydrogenation. But even these can generally be hydrogenated under more vigorous conditions. PD and PT are the most frequently used catalysts. Both are very reactive, and their use depends upon the type of substrate and the degree of selectivity required. In general, PT is more active than PD catalyst. Other catalysts that can be used are Raney-Nickel and rhodium and ruthenium catalyst. RH and Ru catalysts sometimes show useful selectivity. Adams catalyst is also used for such reactions. A few examples are shown here.
The degree of substitution of the double bond decreases the ease of reduction of an alkene, and this sometimes allows the selective reduction of one double bond over other in a molecule containing more than one double bond. Out of the exocyclic and endocyclic double bonds, the exocyclic double bonds are easier to be reduced. For example, as you can see here, the limonene can be converted into paramenthene by hydrogenation by using Adams catalyst if the reaction is stopped after absorption of 1 molar equivalent of hydrogen. The reactivity order of various functional groups towards hydrogenation reflects that the selective hydrogenation of alkenes can be carried out in many cases, excluding when aromatic nitro, alkynes or acyl halides are present in the same molecule, with palladium being the catalyst of choice. For example, in this reaction as shown,
For different hydrogenation metal catalysts, an empirical generality has been observed in their selective hydrogenations of a functional group, in preference to one another, which is depicted in the figure here. Similarly, when the substrate is alkene, more is the steric hindrance, less is the reactivity. The decreasing order of reactivity of different alkenes is given here. For homogeneous hydrogenation of non-conjugated alkenes, Wilkinson catalyst is an extremely efficient catalyst at ordinary temperature and pressures. Functional groups such as ketones, cyano, nitriles, and chlorides are not reduced under these conditions. Tri or tetra-substituted double bonds are reduced much more sluggishly than mono and di-substituted ones, permitting the selective hydrogenation of compounds containing different kinds of double bonds. For example, in the reduction of carvone, the hydrogenation occurred at the non-conjugated double bond. Another example is the selective reduction of beta-nitrostyrene to 2-phenyl nitroethane by reduction of double bond without affecting the.
let us try to understand what is the difference between these two terms very clearly. That is, one you have is hydrogenation and the other is hydrogenolysis. In hydrogenation, you are taking a CC double bond and then adding hydrogen in the presence of catalyst, and this hydrogen molecule entirely adds to these double bonds, and as a result we get the hydrogen which has added to this, as you can notice. So what has happened in this case is the double bond has got converted to single and still these hydrogen molecules are intact. So it's a single molecule you have added, and that is why the term hydrogenation, it is the addition happening. Now in contrast, if we consider the case of hydrogenolysis, what happens is if we have this Ar CH2 O and there is another alkyl group joined here, and if this molecule is treated with hydrogen gas, what happens is this hydrogen will be adding to this carbon and this hydrogen adds to this oxygen, and as a result the molecule gets cleaved. That is, there is a lysis. Lysis means cleavage. So the resulting product, there will be now two products, one where the hydrogen has joined to this fragment and another where the hydrogen has joined to this fragment. So I think the difference is very clear here. In hydrogenation, there is addition without cleavage happening. On the other hand, when we say hydrogenolysis, it is the addition of hydrogen where the lysis, that is the cleavage, takes place.
Nitro group. Another synthetically useful feature of the Wilkinson's catalyst is that it does not lead to hydrogenolysis of the susceptible functionalities in the molecule, and hence can be employed in multi-step synthetic strategies for selective double bond hydrogenation without hydrogenolysis of protecting groups. Another important aspect is that on reaction with deuterium, only two deuterium atoms are added at the site of the original double bond, and no allylic scrambling is observed as with hydrogenous catalyst. However, one disadvantage associated with Wilkinson's catalyst is that substrates containing aldehyde group undergo decarbonylation due to strong affinity of this catalyst towards carbon monoxide. The iridium-based Crabtree's catalyst is even more reactive than Wilkinson's catalyst and is good for hydrogenating hindered alkenes. Also, this catalyst give superior directing effect for cyclic substrates, as high degree of stereo control can be achieved in the hydrogenation of cyclic allylic and homoallylic alcohols. This directing effect is due to a bonding interaction of the hydroxyl group with the iridium center. Coming on to the mechanism of hydrogenation by heterogeneous catalyst. It is found in general that hydrogenation takes place by cis addition of hydrogen atoms to the less hindered side of the unsaturated center, and thus cis hydrogenated product is usually obtained. However, trans product may form occasionally. The most plausible mechanism which can explain these outcomes is in which transfer of hydrogen atoms from the catalyst to the adsorbed substrate takes place in a stepwise manner as shown in the figure. The process involves equilibria between pi bonded forms 1 and 2 and a half hydrogenated form 3, which can either take up another atom of hydrogen or revert to starting material or to an isomeric alkene 5. Subsequently, the new isoalkene is hydrogenated. In principle, it may add hydrogen from either of its diastereotopic faces and would eventually lead to trans-hydrogenated product. Similarly, the formation of allylic deuteration products may be explained when an alkene is reacted with D2 in presence of PD catalyst.
Now we shall discuss the mechanism of homogeneous hydrogenation with Wilkinson's catalyst. The mechanism of this reaction involves the initial dissociation of one of the two triphenyl phosphine ligands in the Wilkinson catalyst to give 14 or 12 electron complexes respectively. And this is then.
Now we shall study about asymmetric hydrogenation. Homogeneous hydrogenations are well suited to asymmetric induction using chiral ligands on the rhodium and ruthenium metal center. Chiral phosphines are most common and many have been studied. Recently, monodentate phosphine ligands such as monophos-1 have been shown to be very effective for enantioselectivity, reducing the N-acyl dihydroamino acids or their corresponding esters to amino acid derivatives. For example, giving N-acetyl phenylalanine in various chiral phosphine ligands used for asymmetric hydrogenations, quantitative yield and with 97% enantiomeric excess. The N-acyl dihydroamino acid is thought to complex with the rhodium metal via its alkene and N-acyl carbonyl oxygen atom, leaving coordination sites for the ligand and hydrogen, which is then delivered asymmetrically to the alkene. Thus, asymmetric hydrogenation depends on the nature of substrate and a second functional group, which can coordinate to the metal catalyst, often aids to the asymmetric induction of hydrogen. For complete conversion of alkyne to alkane, PT, PD catalyst or Rennick nickel are used. However, if a pro-pargylic alcohol group is present, it may occasionally undergo hydrogenolysis, especially when PT catalysts are used. The use of Lindlar's catalyst to get Z-alkenes is a most important example of such transformation. More electrophilic alkynes absorb more strongly on the electron-rich catalyst surface than the corresponding alkenes, aids such partial hydrogenations. Such selective hydrogenation to Z-alkenes has found significant use in the synthesis of natural products and some pharmaceutically important intermediates. Asymmetric hydrogenations are also possible in homogeneous hydrogenations by the use of chiral ligands as shown in the example here. Slide 29. Aromatic rings are among the hardest to be hydrogenated and, even with the precious metal catalyst, require higher temperatures and pressures. But once a benzene ring starts to hydrogenate, there is nothing like partial hydrogenation, and it hydrogenates to cyclohexane. This is because when benzene has been converted to cyclohexadiene, it is associated with the loss of resonance energy, and the subsequent hydrogenations are exothermic and faster than the first one. PT and RH catalysts are common and used at ordinary temperatures, whereas Raney nickel or Ru catalysts require high temperatures and pressures, and Raney nickel is used for large-scale hydrogenations involving heating at 150 degrees Celsius at high pressures. Hydrogenation of polycyclic aromatic rings such as naphthalenes or phenanthrenes are also performed, and by varying the reaction conditions. In example shown here, 9,10 dihydrophenanthrenes or anthracenes is obtained by reduction over copper chromite, and to fully reduce them, which requires more active catalyst.
Let us now summarize what we have learned in this module, which has gone into the details of hydrogenation. Hydrogenation involves the treatment of a chemical compound with hydrogen, and hydrogen molecule is added to a multiple bond, which can be a double bond, a triple bond, or with a heteroatom, the carbonyl or the nitrile.